through our social movements, we can get the word out and assure people that this movement will go on. The lesser evil is not lesser enough to save your job, to save your life, or to save the planet. The lesser evil is a propaganda campaign intended to intimidate you out of your power. Because the lesser evil does not work. Just look at the results of the last 15, 16 years. We were told we had to use the politics of fear and vote against your fears rather than for what you believe in. And what did we get? All those reasons. We were told to vote for the lesser evil because you didn't want the expanding wars, because you didn't want the meltdown of the climate, because you didn't want the massive Wall Street bailouts, or the expanding security state, or the massive prison industrial complex, or the attack on immigrants, or on our civil liberties, and the right of the free press. That's exactly what we got by allowing ourselves to be silenced. When we silence ourselves with this lesser evil thing, we create a moral vacuum. If our voices aren't there as the public interest, it's the corporate predator politicians who are there. They fill this moral vacuum, and it's all downward from there. And furthermore, people stop coming out to vote for lesser evil politicians that are throwing them under the bus. So it's a losing proposition. The lesser evil merely paves the way to the greater evil. And that's exactly what we have seen happen. After the election of a lesser evil president, we saw first one House of Congress flip from blue to red, and then another House of Congress, not because it was a victory, it was not a victory for Republicans, it was a loss for Democrats, because the base just couldn't bring themselves to come out and vote.
Can I get a card?
Women stayed home, immigrants and Latinos stayed home, and youth stayed home.
Beat Trump and Hillary. Both of them evil.
The answer at the end of the day is very simple. Forget the lesser evil, fight for the greater good, like our lives. In this election, we are not just deciding what kind of a world we will have, but whether we will have a world or not going forward.
How do you plan on getting out of this sort of stuff?
You know, our supporters are waiting to see
most of the marches are
self-starters and self-motivated revolutionaries. So they've been pouring into our campaign, certainly since Bernie made his statement with Hillary that he's endorsing her. We have called for Bernie to withdraw his endorsement of Hillary based on this remains open and on the table. I don't think Bernie's going to respond to it, but I think his supporters are.
And what are you trying to do within the first 100 days if you become president?
First thing is to cancel student debt so we can liberate a generation of young people who can lead the way forward, because it's always millennials who lead social transformation, civil rights movement, black rights movement, climate justice movement, it becomes much easier because then then we have people who can actually come back. Right now, we have a generation missing in action because they are too busy working 2 and 3 part-time, low-wage jobs just over their heads, let alone pay back their debt. So first we liberate them. Then we get down to the business of creating a Green New Deal to ensure that everyone has a good wage job that's part of our emergency mobilization to stop climate catastrophe before it happens. Then we make health care a human right for everyone. And since the president is the commander-in-chief, we begin a new kind of offensive in the Middle East called a peace offensive that begins with a weapons embargo and a freeze on the bank accounts of those countries who continue to fund terrorism, leading among them Saudi Arabia, whom Hillary Clinton herself identified as still the leading funder of Sunni jihad.
And how do you plan on reaching the 15% mark that you need to get into the debates?
We've tripled our numbers just by word of mouth. I think that word of mouth has just developed a much bigger megaphone, and we hope to double our numbers again over the course of the next weeks, months, who knows, but we have some time to come up in the polls. The corporate media has basically had a blackout on our campaign because we are the true threat. We are the one campaign now, as Bernie was. But now it's up to us, the one campaign with a political party now that will support the agenda of this revolution. So we intend to get the word out and make it happen.
And what do you want to say, last thing, for just our viewers? What do you want to say to them to reach out?
Oh, please join the team. We are with you, we are for you, we are all by and with the people. Come to Jill2016.com and join the team. You can also go to our social media, Dr. Jill Stein, that's DR with no period, and join the team. We've got a lot of work to do.
Actually,
let's get busy.
One last thing, and what do you think about money in politics?
We need to get the money out of politics so that we can get the people back in. We call for full public financing and no money, not corporate money, not private money, and not the money of billionaires to continue to create a rigged system that's working just great for them. We say get the big money out so we can get the people back in. The people know what to do. Let's just get the billionaires and the banks out of the way.
What is your relationship with the Sanders campaign?
Well, some of his staff is now working for us. Many of his supporters are now working with us. It's like family. Bernie Sanders himself, has a different pathway. And I respect that and am very grateful for what he got going. We wouldn't be here today where we are with this incredibly powerful movement if not for what he did, at great risk to himself, actually. So I think we owe him an incredible debt of gratitude, even if he is not in direct communication with our campaign.
And how do you plan to woo over Sanders supporters from Clinton?
Just by letting them know that we're here. I find they don't need a lot of wooing, especially after learning that the Clinton campaign and the DNC stabbed them in the back. So the timing couldn't be better. This is actually the perfect storm for a voter revolt. Thank you. Yeah. Yay. And let me just see if there are any other questions from the press. Okay.